Welcome to episode 19. We're starting today's challenge with $6,524. This should be properly rolled to start taking shots at 2-5 with a $500 buy-in. After playing a few sessions over at Grand Villa, the games are quite tough, they're quite reg heavy, and there's a lot of 3-bets. You know, when you're facing two limps, you raise to 30, the 3-bet's 130. You pretty much have to play jam or fold, which you'll see in quite a few of these hands. So I think the new plan is going to be to grind up to about $6,000, maybe $7,500 to buy in for the full max 300 big blind buy-in and take 2 to 3 buy-in shots when we do have that roll. So we are going to be playing a lot of 1-3 in the future because these few sessions, well, you'll see. A lot of cool hands, a lot of action, a lot of big pots. We were all in pre-flop 5 times. We also jammed, I think, 2 or 3 more times. We didn't get called, but there's a lot to go over. You guys are going to enjoy this. Stick around.
And here we go. Do me a favor, guys. Just hit the like button on this video. That's all I ask. We are looking at 3 limps. We have ace jack off on the big blind. Definitely going to squeeze this up. And when I go big, I make it 50. I don't have a reason for it. I don't remember why I made it 50. It's too much. But we actually get 2 callers. So 3 ways to a flop of jack 4-3, 2 hearts. Really nice flop. We're definitely going to start with a bet here. I think $50 looks good. And we get 2 callers. So off to a turn, looking for a blank. Even better, ace of clubs. We turn top 2. It's going to be a good session. Checks it over to me. I'm going to keep betting. We want to get all in by the river. So I size down a little bit to size up a bit to 175, just over half pot. Under the gun makes the call and small blind gets out the way. So off to a river, which is the 8 of spades. And nothing to do here but jam. My opponent calls pretty quickly, which I'm not too worried about. We roll it over and we are chopping. Damn it. All right, in this next hand, we are facing 2 limps and we have 5-6 suited in the hijack. Gonna squeeze this to $30 and both the limpers do make the call. So 3 ways to a flop. King 8-3, they check it over to me. This is a pretty good board for me. We also have backdoor straight and backdoor flush possibilities, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a small bet, make it $30, and only the low jack calls. So heads up to a turn, looking for a little bit of help. 7 or 4 would be nice, so would some diamonds. We get a 9, so we turn a gut shot. He checks it over to me, and at these SPRs, I don't like actually betting if I turn a flush draw or if I turn an open ender, because if we get jammed on, it sucks. We have to fold. So I kind of like putting my bluffs into like some very weak bluffs, like gut shots that don't mind bet folding here, and then couple that with my very strong hands, like my king 9, 8-9, ace king sets, those kind of hands. So I'm gonna size up here. I bet 150. He thinks for a while. And unfortunately, we do get jammed on, so we're going to have to let this one go. All right, only a few hands later, we are playing against the same person as the very last hand. Button straddle is on. He's completing the small blind. And this player, I think they only have an open limp range. I haven't seen him raise pre-flop yet. So I think he plays his entire range as an open limp. Pretty interesting strategy. But yeah, so he limps. I'm going to make it $40 pocket queens. Under the gun calls and it folds back to him and he limp re-raises to 165. Seeing as his entire range is a limp and also that we're only 60 big blinds effective with a button straddle and then there's no 4-bet sizing I can do that's not all in, we're all in. So not much to do here. We shove all in. Under the gun folds. He thinks for a while and then eventually makes the call. So this is our first all in. So flop comes down 10-8-6, looks okay. 9, should still be okay. And river is the 3, so we're still have an overpair. Fortunately, he has the pocket king, so we're gonna get cooler there for $600. All right, so in this next hand, there's a very, very, very interesting table dynamic in which the hijack, who's actually a very tight player, has a $300 bounty on his head. If you stack him, you get an additional $300, which will come into play. So we are facing 4 limps and we have king queen off in the cutoff. Definitely going to want to squeeze this. We make it $40 and we get 3 callers. So we're going 4 ways to a flop of jack 10-7 with 2 diamonds. Pretty good flop. Checks over to me and 4 ways. this board, we are just going to get check raised way too often if we bet here, especially against these aggressive players. So I really do like checking this hand back. I'd more so rather bet a hand like, I don't know, king 9 here. No, queen 9 here. Then king queen. But we go ahead and check it back. And turn is the deuce of hearts, bringing in a second flush draw. Middle position leads out for an overbet here. 190 into 4 people. That's insane. Low jack folds, and now hijack jams. And I right away ask for a count because I think if we cover him and we get the $300 bounty with middle position calling, I think that we actually can call this off because of the bounty. So they cut out his chips and it's 429. I count mine and I'm $2 short of the bounty. $2. So I don't think there's much decision here. I'm going to fold. I know we blocked both the flush draws, but we only really have 4 clean outs here. And without the bounty, I don't think it's a decision. I just quickly fold. Middle position makes a call, and the river is the goddamn 9 of spades. Middle position shows king queen as well. He overbet to 4 people, king queen. And hijack shows the pocket 2s for the turn set. Middle position is going to collect the $1,000 pot and the $300 bounty. Congratulations. All right, no more bounties. In this next hand, middle position is raised. I love playing against this guy. He's so much fun. In the future, I'm probably going to start, if I'm deep, I'm probably going to 3-bet hands in middle position. So we're using a smaller 3-bet sizing, but I'm not playing that right now. I just call for $25 queen jack suited. We actually get 3 more callers. The button, small blind, and big blind all come along. So we're now 5 ways to a flop, which comes down pretty nice. We flop the nuts. 10, 9, 8, 2 spades. Checks over to me. Definitely going to want to start betting here. Don't want to go too big into such a big field. And I expect to get check raised very often on this board. So I make it 1/4 pot, $30. Button calls, and so does middle position. So off to a turn, hoping for no spade. No, not just a blank. It does not come. We get a 7 of spades. You know, the flop was 5-handed. I'm just going to check this back and try to get to showdown. So I check it back, and button also checks. Over here, button looks like he wants to bet for a bit. He tanks for a little while and then checks. So off to a river, which is the 5 of hearts. Checks again. I really don't want to bet and get check raised here because it's just such a gross spot. So I think I'm going to check and just call whatever the button bets. Unfortunately, button checks back pretty quick, and so we're probably good here. So we're going to take down that one. All right, another nice looking hand. We have ace-5 suited in the hijack. Under the gun straddles on. We're going to raise up to $30. Folds to the small blind, who's a 5-10 reg, and 3-bets us to 130. And like, this is just the problem when the straddle's on. We're down to 50 big blinds effective. And like, this 3-bet is 1/4 of my stack. There's no 4-bet sizing I can use that's not all in. I can't call this. And ace comes, I need to call down. It's like 1 SPR. Flush draw, I need to call it off with only 30% equity. And that's a given. We even hit that. So we're forced to play jam or fold here, I think, which really sucks. But this hand does make a good bluff candidate for that. And I think I am going to be over bluffing, seeing as I am going to be over jamming here. Like pocket 9s plus, I'll probably jam for value, and then mix in some ace kings, which will probably still be value at 50 big blinds. Some ace queen off. I can probably call ace queen suited, and then use some wheel aces to fill in the rest of my bluffs. So I do just that. I jam here for 500. Doesn't. All right, same player's last hand is raised it up to $20. Middle position is called. We're looking at ace-9 suited in the button. We're just going to make the call here. I don't really like squeezing with this hand. It's a bit too linear. Big blind gets out the way, so we're 3-handed to a really nice looking flop. 9-7-5. Got top pair, top kicker, backdoor flush draw, and it checks over to me. I'm going to start off with a bet here. I make it $20. I want to keep the ranges wide, get some ace-high floats. Under the gun calls, and so does middle position. So we're still 3 ways to a turn, which is a queen of diamonds. Shouldn't change much. 10 jack now is open-ended, which I think is the main hand that would call here. Checks to me. I want to keep betting here as they're really not going to hit queens too often besides ace queen, and I have an ace, which makes it a lot less likely. So I'm going to size up a bit here, make it 2/3, $80. Under the gun +2 calls again, and middle position gets out the way. So off to a river, which is the deuce of spades. Checks over to me, and I think for quite a while here, I think that we could still go for some thin value here. Target a non-believing 7-8, 7-6, 5-6, 5-8, 9-8, something like that, or even just a weaker 9. I think there's a lot of value to be had here, but I don't know, something just didn't feel right about value betting here, so I actually end up checking it back. Good thing we do, because we are up against ace queen, unfortunately. All right, in this next hand, we're playing against a pretty loose player. He limps for $5. We're going to raise it up to 25, try and ISO him. It doesn't happen. Cutoff calls, button calls, and it folds back to the limper, who makes it $75. I'm not buying this at all. I played with this guy quite a bit. This is not aces, kings, queens. This could be 7s, 8s, or 9s, which kind of sucks because of what I'm about to do. But yeah, I'm just not buying this. I don't want to call and set mine. So I just stick it in, $500, cutoff folds, button folds, and he thinks for a little bit. Really happy to take this down pre-flop because, we're probably flipping and there's $125 in there. Fortunately, does toss in the call eventually, so we are off to the flop. Just king 5-5. Not my favorite, but it's all right. Turns the 4 of clubs. River is the 7 of spades, and he rolls over the king queen off for our second all-in a row that we've lost. It's all right. Very nice hand. Okay, this is a brand new 2-5 sessions. The next day, we have a low jack raised to 15, and we have ace king off on the button. We're going to raise this up. I make it $50. Folds around to the big blind, who overcalls, and then the low jack also completes. And we go to a flop, which is unreal. Ace, ace, jack, rainbow. Better news? Low jack leads into us for a third pot, $50. I don't want to raise here and blow him off a hand like ace 4, whatever. So I'm just going to call here and see if big blind can also come along for the ride. Unfortunately, does not. So we're off to a turn, which is the king of clubs. We now make the nuts. Our hand is just so strong. And I expect him to check here a lot, but he keeps betting $75. It's going to be 1 SPR on the river, so I don't feel like raising here and giving him a chance to get away. Even if he's got a hand like, queen jack, I don't want to blow him off it. So I just make the call, $75 off to a river, which is the 4 of clubs. Nothing changes. We still have the nuts. Good news, he keeps betting. 125, pretty small bet. Nothing to do here but jam. We go all in, and he thinks for a very long time. He's deep in the tank, thinking it over. Almost folds, almost calls, almost folds, almost calls, and then decides on a call. We are going to scoop this one. Very nice way to start the session. Okay, we have a middle position raise, hijack call, button call, and we are in the small blind with pocket 8s. Definitely going to call here, and let's take a flop. 10, 8, 7, 2 diamonds. We flop middle set on a very draw heavy, very connected board. Jack 9 beats us, pocket 10s beats us, and 6-9. So not too many hands. We check it over. The original raiser bet 60. Just a pretty big bet, right? It's a really big bet on this board into 4 players. Button also makes the call, and we are definitely going to want to raise this up. I make it $225. I think that's a reasonable size to go. Wouldn't mind something like maybe 200 even, but we make 225. Middle position tanks for a bit and then folds, and unfortunately button folds as well, so we're not getting paid this hand. Okay, in this hand, button straddle is live. We have pocket 10s in middle position. We're gonna raise it up to $30, and only one person calls in the cutoff. We played a lot with this guy, so we're going to a flop of king 8-7 rainbow. Heads up, king high flop. We're definitely gonna range bet, so we make it small, $20, and he makes the call. This player really likes to raise his top pairs, so we can pretty heavily discount king X here. Turn is the 9 of spades, giving us an open ender, but making a lot of 2 pairs and a lot of 5-6 kind of gets there. Jack 10, but we're gonna check it over to him and play some pot control. And he fires off a pretty small bet of $40. Easy call here. Off to the river, which is another king, making it almost impossible for him to have a king. And it counterfeits all his 2 pairs. What an amazing river. We check it over and he overbets. I love this bet. 220 puts me in a really tough spot, but with pocket 10s, right, we're just blocking too much. It's really tough for him to have Jack 10 here. Maybe he's got 10-6 suited sometimes. I don't think he's got a king here ever. And Yeah, I think this is one of our best call down hands that isn't a king. So we toss in the call and get shown the 10-6 suited. Oh, even though we blocked the straight, he still has it. Very unfortunate. Very nice river bet by this fella. Nice hand. All right, I'm going to introduce you to who I'm going to refer to from now on as Crazy Guy. He's in the small blind in this hand, and he has just made me fold 3 or 4 times pre-flop with some ridiculously large open sizes to about $80, or some 3 bets that were astronomical in size that I just couldn't call with like 8-9 suited, even though I'm like 200 big blinds deep. So under the guns limit, I make it $25, folds round to him, and he makes it $75. Comes back to me, and this is his 5th 3-bet against me. I'm not buying it, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the more aggressive route. I don't really want to call here, although I probably could for this sizing in position, but I make it 165, about 2.2x, and he snap shoves on me. So we're going to have to fold this. Pretty unfortunate. All right, so we played a couple more hands with him. I don't know. I've had to raise to 40 and then fold to a 3-bet. In this hand, the button straddles on for $10, and he has opened and under the gun just to $80. Middle position is overcalled, and we are looking down at ace king in the hijack. I think there's only one decision here, like only one option here. There's really no size that we could make it. Like, what am I going to do? Make it 200? That's too small. If I make it 300, I'm committed. So I think that just jam here and take down the $177 in the pot is a huge win, because we probably only have 70% equity against him anyways. So I go all in, folds, and he snap calls. Middle position folds, and we're off to a flop, which is 10-9-4, 2 hearts, 8 of spades, and no help on the river, the deuce of diamonds, and he rolls over the pocket kings. This guy has just owned our soul. 4-bet, shoved on me, make me fold ace jack. I've had to fold so many hands, and when I finally have a hand, he's got the pocket kings, so we're going to lose our 3rd all in a row here. Unfortunate 2-5 run so far. All right, we've reloaded for $1,000. We got ace jack suited middle position, going to raise this up to $15. We get 1 caller and then cut off small 3-bets us to $40. Very small. Folds back to us, and I think the best course of action here is to 4-bet, but I don't know this player well enough. I don't know what he's doing it with. I don't know, so I'm just going to make the call. I find a lot of these like very small 3-bets to always be ace king, but I don't know in this case. Different player pull in 2-5, right? So hijack also comes along with 3 ways to a flop of ace king 7 with 1 spade. We check it over, and he sort of has like a sigh then check. I don't really read too much of the live tells, but it's a little bit of a big one. Off to the turn, which is a 4 of clubs. Graphics wrong. That's a 4 of clubs. I didn't turn a flush draw. I'm going to start betting here. I make it 60. Hijack folds, and he raises me to 150. If this is a 4 of spades, I would call, but this is just, I think we're just drawing dead here. I've never seen a bluff line like this. Right? 3-bet pre-flop, check the flop, and then raise the turn on a blank. This is just never a bluff, so I'm going to make a very tight fold here. I'm just going to let it go. Yeah. All right, this next hand, button is open to $30 over a limp. We have ace jack off in the small blind. Versus button, I pretty much play 3-bet or fold. I'm doing a little bit of studying into my 3-bet sizings, and I think if I'm playing 3-bet or fold, it needs to be a more linear sizing, so something like $70 or so. But I'm gonna study a bit and work on that. As for now, I'm just playing normal 3-bet sizing, so I make it 120 to go. Big blind folds, under the gun folds, and it goes back to the button who makes the call. This player is really good. He's one of the players that I definitely think is quite a bit better than I am. So we're off to a flop, which is Queen 5-4 2 hearts. I think that this is just a give up. This flop, I don't have a heart. Queen high is not great for the 3-better. So I think in retrospect and in person, I was thinking that this is just like a check give up, but I start off with a small bet of $85 and he makes the call. So we're off to a turn, which is the 6 of hearts. I don't think I can keep betting here. So I check it over and he thinks for a while and checks it back. River's a 10 of clubs. And, you know, this hand is pretty close to the bottom of our range, so we're probably going to have to bluff here. If I had a hand like aces with a heart or kings with a heart or ace queen with a heart, I'd probably use a small sizing here. So I also got to work in some bluffs with small sizings. So I go for a $125 pop bet, which is like just over 1/4 bet. He thinks for a while and then jams on us. So yeah, he could be bluffing, but he might even be bluffing with a better hand than us. So we're gonna have to let this one go. All right, in this next hand, we are a little bit short. I only usually bring about 3 binds with me to the casino, so we're already in for 1,500. We got pocket sixes in middle position. We're gonna open up to $15. And Kevin on the button makes the call. Kevin actually is the first person who came up to me in person and said, hey, I love your videos. So shout out to Kevin. He really wants to be in the video. And here it is. So we are heads up to a beautiful flop of Jack 9-6. Looks like we might win a little bit of money from Kevin. Pretty connected board. He could definitely have a lot of hands that hit this that have to continue. So we're going to size up a little bit, but I don't want to cap my range. I make it 20 and he makes the call. Off to a turn, which is the 7 of spades, adding a flush draw, make the board pretty connected. Over here, I don't mind a check, but I think that betting's more optimal. And so I go ahead and bet 55 into 77. This is a mistake. This should be close to like 70, 77. I thought we were at 3 SPR, but 70 into 265 is not divided by 3. I'm terrible at math. Yeah, this should be about $70 if I want to get all in by the river. Kevin thinks for a bit, and it looks like he's going to fold, but then he goes all in. Pocket six is definitely too strong to do anything but a call, so we make the call, looking for a blank river or a board pair if we need it. Comes down to the 3 of spades. I show, and Kevin shows the Jack 8 of clubs, the turn flush, turn open ender. Would have put my over pairs in a pretty rough spot there, so... But we are going to scoop this pot. Sorry it cost you $300 to get the video, Kevin, but good playing with you. Nice hand. All right, in this next hand, we have lost quite a bit of our profits again. Just a lot of 3-betting and having to fold a flop, or just raising in 3-bet and folding. The game's just very aggressive. So under the gun +2 has opened, and we're in middle position with 9s and only $340 behind. I don't mind getting this all in pre. But I also know if I flat here, it's probably going to get squeezed, and I don't know, I guess we go with it, but it seems bad. So I do 3-bet the 9s to 75. I don't think it's a huge mistake, but I don't think it's the best option either. Folds back to under the gun. Yeah, I don't know about this decision. I don't know, that's pretty close. I probably should just rack up when I have less than 100 big blinds. Yeah. He looks over my stack, asks me how much I have, count it out for him. He's just going to go with his hand. He goes all in. We call. We're all in again, pre-flop. And we get a flop of king 8-4, 2 spades. Not looking good. Turns another king, so it's looking better. And river 7. We show, and our opponent has the pocket jacks. So we're going to lose the 4th all in a row, unfortunately. This one was pretty much... I'd say like 90% our fault. 99% our fault. So I'll stop. All right, new day, new session. We have just sat down. I'm trying to set up my phone and everything, but we got under the gun raise. My cards are dealt. I'm going to 3-bet this at $35. Set up my phone. Let's go. Under the gun makes the call. So we're heads up to a flop of ace 10-8, 2 diamonds. Pretty nice. Checks over to me. Going to start with a small bet here. I bet $35, right around half pot. It's a pretty connected board. He can continue with a lot of hands, and he makes the call. Off to a turn, which is the 6 of diamonds. Not really what I want to see, but I'm not too worried. Checks it over to me. I still want to go for value. I'm going to go about half pot. I make it 75, and he makes the call. So off to a river, hoping for no diamond. 4 spades. Beautiful. Checks it over to me again, and we're just going to jam for value here. I go all in. Very first hand, and he calls with... ace jack of diamonds. We're going to stack him on our very first hand at 1-3. Okay, just a few hands later, we have 2 limps and we have ace jack off in the big blind. We're going to squeeze this to $18. As we do so, we get called to the 2-5 game. So this will be our last 1-3 hand. This is, I think we played 6 hands at this table. So they both make the call off to a flop, which is 9-4-4, 2 spades. We got a spade in our hand. This is a pretty tough board to connect with. So we are going to start bluffing here. I make it $20, and the middle position player makes the call. So off to a turn, it's pretty good. It's a 4 of hearts. So now any overpair is pretty much the nuts. So I'm going to keep telling the story that I have an overpair. So it doesn't have to be big here because he can't outdraw us. If we have aces, he's dead, right? He's either got pocket nines of 4 or he's dead. So smaller sizings when ranges are narrow like this, when both ranges are getting kind of like you have it or you don't. So $35, and he makes a call again. So we're pretty much just going to jam any river and expect him to fold quite often. River's interesting. It's another 4. So we make the nuts, and now his hand is either just ace high or nothing. So we're going to want to size way down here to get a call. I make it $25, and he thinks for a very long time. Not that long, but he does make the call. And I don't know why he made the call. I think it was just so he could show his hand because he's got 8 high. And so we're going to scoop this and head on over to our last 2-5. All right, we're playing 2-5 now. We've got a middle position limp. We got ace 5 of clubs on the button. We're going to raise this up to $25. Big blind has just been spewing a ton. Makes it $125. Middle position folds. And this is once again just like a shove or fold spot. It sucks. We're 100 big blinds deep and we're having to play shove or fold to a 3-bet. Although this is a very big 3-bet. This player's just spewing way too much. I don't believe him. We're just going to shove all in. And there we go. He tanks for quite a while. Almost calls, almost folds, but does decide on a fold, which turns out we actually didn't want because he had 3-4 of clubs. So I really like my shove there against 4 high. Good read, Sam. All right, so after that last hand, we went through about 2 hours of being really card dead. I played one hand where I raised and fold to a 3-bet. So our table image is quite tight. We're looking at 2 limbs, and cutoff makes a suspiciously large raise to $40. We're in the small blind pocket king, so this large raise isn't too much of a concern. I know this guy is a reg, but the bigger raise size is a bit concerning. So we make it $125. Folds back to him. He thinks for a while and then jams. Against a reg, I don't think we can fold. But I'm just worried about his $40 raise size. It just seems very suspicious. He would normally do 30 in the spot, but we've got kings. We're going to call it off for 100 big blinds. And we're off to a flop. So we both table our hands, and he's got ace king here. So finally we're getting in good for once. For our 5th all in. Flop comes down. Ace, ace, 8. We're drawing dead. We're going to lose all 5 of our all-ins. We got it in good once, we got it in bad 3 times, and we got it in once with a flip. Just not going our way, unfortunately, boys and girls. I don't know if girls watch this. All right, so Under the Gun has limped. This guy is insane. Yeah, we definitely want to ISO when we have ace 7 suited hand this strong. So we make it $25. Small blind overcalls, and he does something very weird. I haven't seen this before, but he raises it up to $80. We're in position. We're definitely going to call this. I don't know. 4-bet seems okay as well versus this. I've never seen this from him before, but this just seems weak. But I'm going to make the call in position, and small blind also makes the call. So off to a flop, which comes down ace 9 5 2 spades. Checks to him, and he bets 1/3 pot, which is a surprising size from someone who I thought was, quite a bit of a fish. We're going to make the call, and small blind folds. So off to a turn, which is 8 of hearts. So we turn a gut shot. He once again bets $85. I don't know. I don't really like jamming here. Yeah, we're just going to call. Call is still printing money. Off to a river, and he actually checks blind here. Jack of clubs. The check blind, I just think that we're good here, and we probably could value bet, but our hand is just a bit too weak. So I just check it back, and he shows the ace jack off. Just not going our way. All right, this is the final hand. Please hit that like button. Please. We have king queen suited in the big blind. We are facing a raise from Sean in the small blind. Fun fact about this guy. Back when I played poker full time for a living, This is about like 8 or 9 years ago. Me and this guy would play 7 days a week. Every single day we go and grind for like 10, 12 hours just trying to make it. He did. I'm now a realtor. So he's a very, very good professional poker player. So he raises up to $30 over a middle position limp. He's trying to ISO this guy. I know he's going larger because he's trying to ISO this guy. So I make it $90 with king queen suited in the big blind. Folds back to him and he 4-bets at 205. Really nice sizing out of position. Yeah, he's a very solid player. This is really small. But we're not 5-betting this hand. We can definitely call this pretty profitably in position, so we do so. I think his range is going to be like aces, kings, queens, ace, king, and some wheel aces here, and maybe the occasional suited connector bluff. So off to a flop, which comes down pretty good. 8-5-3 with 2 diamonds. He starts off with a really nice $130 bet. Raising here is out of the question as we very rarely have pocket 8s or any strong hands here. So we're going to play our entire range as a call here. I call and the turn is the ace of clubs. He checks it over to us, and here is where I mess up pretty bad. I'm thinking, okay, there's 3 combos of aces, 3 combos of kings, 3 combos of queens. I would play ace king as a jam here, and I'd probably do the same with ace queen, but check back the ace queen with the diamonds and check back ace king with the diamonds as well. But I think I would jam with my ace king here. So I want some bluffs to balance this out. King queen seems pretty good, and 2/3 of the time he's going to be in a rough spot with kings and queens, and 1/3 of the time he's just going to have aces, but we still have equity against that. But I completely forgot about ace king, which is like 9 combos, I think. So yeah, 2 times out of 1 he's got us just crushed, and we only have like 30-ish%, or sorry, 20%, and the other 33% he might fold. So this is just terrible, but I jam and he snap calls, which means he's got aces. We're looking for some help on the river. It's a 9 of clubs. It does not come, and indeed he does have the pocket aces. I really messed up this hand. That turn should definitely be a check back. Just completely forgot about ace king in his range. I don't know how I forgot about that. Yeah, pretty brutal. We are going to lose this. And that is going to be the end of our 3rd and final session. Thanks, guys.
That's going to wrap up episode 19. Pretty brutal session. Lost most of the bankroll, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. We are not going to be playing 2-5 for quite a while. First session, we were in for $1,200. Out for 0. Second session, in for $1,600. Out once again for 0. Then we played a short 1-3 session while waiting for 2-5, and we won $488. And then we played a 2-5 in for $1,775. Out once again for $0 for the worst downswing in a 10-hour span of my entire poker playing life. Our bankroll started at 65.24. It is now down to 2,300-ish. I'll put the numbers on the screen. We are going to have to grind our way back up. I will see you guys in the next one.